you'll certainly be familiar with my next guest. She's played a private investigator, a detective constable, a headmistress, and caused quite the commotion on Albert Square. Joyner really can lend her hand to any role. And she's back on our screens tonight, starring in her latest thriller, For Her Sins. And the best part is, she's here to tell us all about it. Good afternoon, Jo.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm really well. And I must tell you, before we say any more, that we had our TV critic on this afternoon and he gave For Her Sins a massive thumbs up. So I can't wait to watch it, for one.
Oh, good.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about it, please?
Yeah, so I play Laura, who seemingly on the outside has got it all. She's happily married, she's got 2 kids, and she's got a great career as a lawyer. And when we meet her, she's on maternity leave. So actually, one of the things I liked about this is quite similar to my own life. She's quite in control at work and she knows how that all works and she's good at that. But at home, everything sort of is a little bit more chaotic, and it just goes to show you can be in charge and good at things, can't you? 1 minute and then it can all fall apart. So when we meet her, she's a little bit vulnerable. She's coming out of maternity leave and she's a bit chaotic. Her husband's working away a lot, and she makes friends with Emily, who is played by the lovely Rachel Shenton. And yeah, they form quite a quick friendship. They get on very well. She's got a great sense of humour. She thinks she's finally found a mum from school that's her kind of woman, but she doesn't turn out to be all she seems.
And I suppose, you know, as you said, the show covers topics of adult relationships and sort of making friends as you get older. And I don't know, what's it like for you in that regard? I know that I probably trust everybody.
Oh, yeah, I'm quite open-minded. I think as an actor, it's part of our job, isn't it, to sort of understand why everybody does something and justify things. So we're pretty non-judgmental. So I'm I'm like a Labrador. I kind of wag my tail at anyone until I've really been battered. But I definitely found it hard to, in the same respect, being an actor, make mum friends, because I wasn't always at the school gate. And I think if you're a working mum, any working mum, and I'd moved back to a new area when they started school. So it was quite hard to kind of get to know people. It takes a bit of time, doesn't it? And in this case, they get to know each other quite quickly. And actually, you'll see throughout the series, I think your loyalties move around, actually. It's not a clear-cut case of a good cop, bad cop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's complicated, like women are.
Yes, it's thrilling. I've seen the trailer. I caught it last week, actually, and thought, ooh, I'm going to watch that, definitely. And I love the fact it's on every night for the next 4 nights, isn't it?
Yeah, so we can binge it this week.
Yeah. So, as you said, you're playing opposite Rachel Shenton, and she plays Emily Furness. Is this the first time that your co-star has been another woman, a leading woman?
Yeah, it's very unusual. It was one of the things that really attracted me to the show, actually, because I have been really lucky. I've worked with such lovely blokes, and I seem to work very well and be cast very often in a kind of duo with people like Mark Benton and Jake Wood and so on. And though that is lovely, it was really refreshing to just work opposite another woman and explore that dynamic and the relationships. You know, we were finding it was a bit like when you were actually at school. Sometimes female relationships were really quite complicated because they're quite sensitive. And, you know, we were finding all these moments with Rachel's character whereby it's a double-edged sword. You know, she says something and you think you're both on the same wavelength, and then you're like, oh, was that a dig? Oh no, it's fine. Yeah. And you kind of, you know, she's wrong-footed. There's quite a bit of gaslighting actually in this. So it's good to explore that with 2 women, really. It was complex and interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because, like, you do meet people like that, don't you? And I don't know about you, but I'm not quick enough or probably clever enough to be that calculated, but fascinating. And you're also reunited with the lovely Anne Mitchell, who's played your on-screen mum before, hasn't she, in EastEnders?
She has, yeah. So I texted her when I found out and said, we must really look like each other if this is going to keep happening. Because it's quite unusual to get recast again with somebody that you've worked with in whatever capacity, actually. Once you've been closely related on screen, it's unlikely to happen again for some time. So So it was a real treat, actually, because the schedule at EastEnders is so fast and furious that actually people don't really hang around and hang out very much afterwards. You kind of just get your head down and learn tomorrows. So although we worked together for quite a while on EastEnders, we didn't really have the pleasure of, like we did filming this, because we were away in Malta. We kind of got to have a glass of wine in the evening and, you know, actually sit in a relaxed atmosphere and chat and get to know each other a bit better. It was really lovely.
Oh, because you say that, because again, we were talking about the soap awards and, of course, Coronation Street, EastEnders, they've all done very well. But it's like a factory, isn't it? It's for an actress, it's got to be non-stop.
It's incredibly different to your classic drama. So on a normal drama, you might film maybe 7, 8 scenes a day. And you'll do a full day, 7 till 7. And on a soap, you might do 17, 18 scenes a day. And then they also might be across three episodes per unit. So sometimes you're running 3 units. So you might be across 9 episodes. So each one of those scenes might be a completely different moment in time from a completely different episode.
Crazy.
Day. So you do have to do quite a bit of homework as well to make sure you know what your journey is and where you're coming from, and let alone just the learning 40 pages of dialogue sometimes every other night, you know.
I'm exhausted just listening to it.
Yeah, people don't get enough kind of credit for that, actually, when you're working in soap. It's full on.
Oh, Jo, you've been absolutely brilliant. Please don't go anywhere because I want to talk to you about your book that you're writing. Still joining me is TV's familiar face, Jo Joyner. Now, Jo, you have got twins, but you've been very open about your IVF journey. Did you find journaling your experience helped?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I used to keep a diary a lot when I was a kid, actually, but never really as a grown-up. And then as I started to, it was before I was having IVF. It was when we didn't really know why we weren't getting pregnant. I started to keep diaries really for my own sanity and just to kind of get the thoughts out of my head as my own kind of self-prescribed CBT, I suppose. But they turned out to be funnier than you'd think, because actually when you are trying to get through something, you really notice, you notice the dark humour in situations, don't you, I suppose? So, yeah, I did journal them, yeah.
And you you studied at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, which is right here in Cardiff. You must have fabulous memories then, and friends, I suppose, here in Wales.
I've got one very close friend that I met at university, my husband.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
what a lovely
Welsh
story.
College. Yeah, it is. I was at the Welsh College of Music and Drama, although we were just friends through uni, and then we got together about 3 years after we left uni. And I loved Cardiff. I'm really fond of Cardiff. It's such a lovely city, and I'm a real country girl at heart, and I grew up in the country. I live back in the country now. So for my first city away from home to live in, it was a really good one, because Cardiff's just got a lot of space and all those civic buildings and the park at the heart of it, and and the sea at the docks at the edge. It's got a bit of everything, and I'm really, really fond of Cardiff.
Oh, and you've played so many different roles, haven't you? And I just wonder, like we've been talking about For Her Sins, which starts tonight, how much sort of research do you try to do to sort of embody each character?
Kind of depends who you're playing. If you're playing a beautician, or you're playing, for instance, a nurse like in No Angels, then it's really useful, and you're going to be seen on site. Then it's useful to do your research in terms of the practicalities of that job and how that works. But the majority of the time, you're ultimately just characters. Like I remember when I was doing Ackley Bridge, playing a head teacher at Ackley Bridge, a lot of people were like, "What research did you do?" And I thought, well, you don't kind of behave as a head teacher. You're just a character. You're a person, aren't you? So, I let the writers worry about the kind of the reality of that and how the job works and what's real and what's not and what's realistic. But I kind of focus really on the script heavily. And sometimes I'll draw from people I know, or even people I don't know that well, but acquaintances might have some kind of flavour of a certain character that you're about to play. So you might maybe steal a mannerism or something off of them and kind of, or a dress sense or something. And sometimes you just completely create it from the script yourself because it's inspired you in some way. So it's a real mixture.
And I suppose, as you said, for this one, you were able to be on location together. So I expect it's a sort of combination, is it, as well, with you and the fellow cast, sort of growing that character?
Yeah, and costume and makeup. You all come together with the director initially and kind of decide what they'll wear for this character. For instance, she's living such a high, things become very stressful. Her past is in some secrets come back to haunt her, and there's a kind of real she's got a high anxiety anyway when we meet her, but things get quite claustrophobic for her. So I know I worked with costume on quite a few of her shirts for work are quite high around the neck, which I personally in real life, I can't wear anything like that. But I kind of made a purposeful choice to do that because she's literally buttoned up at that point, if you know what I mean. So, there's little things like that you'll kind of do that even if no one notices them, they're for yourself and they do help.
Oh. Well, we will now, definitely. I will be watching out for that. And we're going to be able to catch it all on My5, where you can binge the whole lot. I might spread it out over the week, actually. Are you the sort of person that likes to binge something?
Yeah, I must admit, I'm kind of, I'm not very patient. So we've been watching Succession and we did wait for a lot of them to come out because I know that we'll never be able to just watch one. We'll always want to watch another one. So I must admit, I like to let them build up. And then when I know I've got a few in the bag, then we go in. So you can do that with this at the weekend if you miss it in the week.
Yes, exactly. I must be the only person in the world that hasn't seen Succession. I keep going to do it and then I keep going, I can't. And now, of course, there are spoilers all over the place. So, Jo, what's next on the horizon for you?
Well, a couple of charity things, actually. One is, I don't know why I've said yes to this, but I'm ambassador for PANS Pandas UK, which is a childhood neurological illness, set of illnesses. And they're doing a thing in July called Challenge for PANS Pandas, and I have chosen my challenge. And the idea is to do this in solidarity with the kids that face challenges every day with this condition. And so you're supposed to think of something that's hard for you. And obviously everyone can join in with this. And it might be that it's hard for you to talk for an entire day, to be quiet or to give up chocolate or something. For me, I don't know why I agreed, but I'm abseiling down a huge building in Birmingham because heights are my thing that I'm terrified of. And I don't even know how I'm going to do that first bit and fall backwards. I don't know why I said yes, but it's all for a good cause. So that's coming up. And then I've got a podcast which will be launching in a few weeks' time. And this is an exclusive. I've not spoken about this one yet, but this is, again, along those lines. So it's not in conjunction with the charity, but it's with a friend of mine. And we want to raise awareness of these conditions. So we're interviewing some parents and families who've been through this journey. It's a treatable condition. And so we're hearing some of their stories, which are, as you can imagine, really moving and inspirational as well. And then we're interviewing some specialists about the condition. So we'll be launching that. It's very moving. It's been very emotional recording it.
Gosh, how long has this been? Yeah, have you been working on this for a long time?
Since about the new year. So yeah, we have, yeah.
Oh, it sounds fascinating. Perhaps you'll come back and talk to us about that as well. Jo, it's been absolutely brilliant. And I personally can't wait. As I said, Derval, our TV critic, has been raving about it. I've been talking about it. We're all ready to see her buttoned up and maybe burst out and unravel on screen. For Her Sins is going to be out tonight. Are you going to be watching?
I don't know. I get a bit nervous. I might let the family watch. I might go in another room. I don't know.
Well, I certainly will. Thank you so much. It's been delightful. That's
Thanks
Jo
very
Joyner.
much.
Thank you.